You're going to suffer. The only question is, will you suffer with purpose, or will you suffer because you ran from it? There's no such thing as a life without pain. There's only the pain you choose, or the one that chooses you. So today, I'm telling you straight, pick your damn sacrifice, because if you don't, life will pick one for you, and it won't ask for your permission. Let me put this simply, you can't avoid chaos, but you can build something strong enough to stand in the middle of it. That something is you, not the version of you who whines, complains, and blames everyone else. No, the version of you who says, "This is my life, my burden, and my potential, and I'm going to carry it like I mean it." Sacrifice is what turns a child into an adult. You want a meaningful life, then you don't get to live like life owes you something. The moment you say, "I will take responsibility for what I can control," you stop being a victim and start becoming someone who matters. Responsibility is not a punishment, it's a call to step into your power, but here's the catch, you have to give up the easy path, you have to sacrifice comfort, excuses, and that cowardly voice inside you that says, maybe tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is now, and you must act or decay. Freedom isn't the ability to do whatever you want. That's chaos. True freedom comes from discipline, the ability to say no to weakness and yes to strength. Every time you wake up early, train your body, master your mind, delay gratification, and do what you know you must. That's a sacrifice, a sacred one. And every time you avoid responsibility, indulge the short term, let your emotions control you, you sacrifice your potential. You're always sacrificing something. The question is, are you sacrificing who you are, or who you could become? Pick the pain of discipline now, or live with the pain of regret forever. One burns for a moment, the other eats your soul. Here's a truth most people run from. The meaning of life is not pleasure. It's not happiness. It's not endless comfort. Meaning comes from voluntarily taking on the heaviest burden you can carry, and doing it with dignity. When you do this, life doesn't get easier. You just become stronger. The person who chooses to confront pain, walk through suffering, and aim toward a purpose, that person earns meaning, and meaning is what sustains you through the dark nights, through betrayal, failure, illness, and grief. If you don't have meaning, those things will destroy you, but if you do, they'll shape you into something indestructible. So go out and suffer on purpose, not for misery, but for greatness. You can't play the victim and be powerful at the same time. If you blame the world, your parents, the economy, your genetics, your trauma, you're giving your life away. You are not responsible for everything that happened to you, but you are 100% responsible for what you do now. Pick your sacrifice like a warrior. Wake up and say, "This is going to be hard, but I choose the hard that makes me better." Choose the diet, choose the discipline, choose the rejection that comes with chasing a dream. Choose the pain that makes you stronger instead of the pain that rots your soul. You will suffer either way. Choose to suffer for something worthwhile. Let me put this simply, you can't avoid chaos, but you can build something strong enough to stand in the middle of it. That something is you. Life is a battlefield, and every single day you're either preparing for the war within it, or you're being torn apart by it without knowing why. The truth is, the world is not designed to nurture your comfort. It's indifferent, cold, brutally fair. You get what you work for, not what you wish for. And if you refuse to take responsibility for the one life you've been given, you leave yourself vulnerable to every storm, every betrayal, every failure. But the moment you decide to carry your load, and not just carry it, but carry it with purpose and dignity, that's the moment you begin to push back against chaos. Responsibility isn't a punishment. It's not a burden forced on you by society or authority or family. It's your opportunity to rise above mediocrity, to declare to the world and to yourself that you are not some feather being tossed by the winds of circumstance. You are the storm. You are the one who decides what this life will mean. You don't need perfection to do this. You don't need to have it all figured out. What you need is the courage to say, "This is on me, and I accept it." The moment you take responsibility, even for things that aren't entirely your fault, something changes in you. You become less fragile. You stop waiting for someone to come save you. You stop blaming your past for why you can't move forward. You stop resenting others for not giving you the life you feel entitled to. Responsibility pulls you out of victimhood, and victimhood is a slow poison. It weakens your will, it drowns your ambition, it blinds you to the truth that the life you want demands sacrifice. No, it's not fair. Life rarely is, but fairness isn't the point. Strength is, and strength comes from struggle. It comes from willingly putting weight on your shoulders and refusing to collapse under it. You want meaning. Pick up something heavy and carry it. Take ownership of your future. Face the discomfort. Commit to something bigger than your impulses, because without responsibility, your life will drift, and drifting is just a slow death in disguise. Freedom is not the absence of rules. It's not the ability to do whatever you feel like in the moment. That kind of freedom, the impulsive, undisciplined, chaotic version, leads straight to destruction. True freedom is earned, not given. It's carved out through discipline, through self-mastery, through the deliberate choice to do what is right instead of what is easy. People want to feel free, but they resist structure. They crave success but avoid routine, and in doing so, they sabotage the very thing they claim to desire. You want power, you want control over your life, then you need to understand this truth. Discipline is the foundation of freedom. The man who cannot control himself will be controlled by everything else: his emotions, his temptations, the opinions of others, and the circumstances of life. He becomes a slave to comfort, a prisoner of his urges. But the man who trains himself, who sets boundaries, who denies short-term pleasures for long-term purpose, he is free, not because the world bends to him, but because he's no longer at the mercy of it. He's grounded, rooted, focused. He doesn't need external control because he's mastered internal discipline. Every time you choose discipline, you are making a sacrifice. You are giving up ease for strength. You are trading temporary relief for lasting resilience, and it's not glamorous. It won't always feel rewarding in the moment, but over time, discipline builds a kind of quiet confidence, a sense of pride that only comes from earning your own respect. That kind of pride doesn't scream. It doesn't need validation. It stands tall in silence because it knows the cost that was paid behind the scenes. People say they want freedom to sleep in, to skip the gym, to eat whatever they want, to scroll endlessly without thinking. But those choices don't make you free. They chain you to regret. They bury your potential under a pile of wasted days. Discipline, on the other hand, wakes you up early, puts you in uncomfortable situations, makes you say no to what feels good now so you can say yes to something greater later. That's the kind of freedom that lasts. That's the kind of freedom that leads to mastery, to legacy, to peace of mind. You don't escape pain by avoiding discipline. You only delay it. And when it comes back, it hits harder. So pick the pain that serves you. Pick the structure that sets you free. Because if you won't impose limits on yourself, the world will do it for you, and it won't be gentle. Here's a truth that most people refuse to face. The deepest meaning in life does not come from pleasure, comfort, or ease. It comes from voluntary struggle. It comes from waking up in the morning and deciding, with full awareness, to walk into challenge, to face resistance, to bear a burden not because you're forced to, but because you choose to. That decision, to suffer on purpose, is what gives your life weight. And without that weight, you drift into nothingness. Comfort has become a god in modern culture. We're told to chase happiness, to avoid stress, to remove every obstacle from our path. But when you remove the challenge, you remove the growth. When you avoid suffering, you rob yourself of the chance to build character. Meaning doesn't show up when you lie on the beach doing nothing. It shows up when you push through exhaustion, when you confront fear, when you sacrifice what's easy for what's meaningful. Think of the moments in your life that truly shaped you. Were they the easy ones, the vacations, the late nights spent avoiding responsibility? No, it was the heartbreaks, the setbacks, the failures you refused to let define you. The times you were broken, but stood back up and kept going anyway. That's where your meaning was forged, in fire, not in comfort. And the power of voluntary struggle is that it gives you control over that fire. You choose it, you walk into it with your eyes open and say, "Let this pain transform me." There is something noble, even sacred, about struggle that's embraced rather than avoided. When you deliberately carry a burden, you stop feeling like a victim. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I become through this?" That shift is everything, because the person who suffers by choice for something greater than themselves becomes unbreakable. They may be tired, but they're not lost. They may be wounded, but they're not weak. They're fighting for meaning, and that meaning gives them direction. The truth is, you can't escape pain, but you can decide which pain is worth it. The pain of building something worthwhile, the pain of pushing past your limits, the pain of becoming more than you were yesterday. That kind of pain doesn't destroy, it builds. It carves a deeper version of you, one that can hold more, endure more, give more. And in that depth, you will find the only thing that truly lasts, meaning 2/2, you can't walk through life with power and purpose while dragging the chains of victimhood behind you. It's simply not possible. The world does not bend to those who blame it for their pain. It yields only to those who take ownership of their suffering. If you keep waiting for someone to fix you, save you, or apologize for the way life has treated you, then you will wait forever. Nothing changes until you stop pointing fingers and start picking up your own damn weight. Life isn't fair, but your response to it, that's entirely within your control. You don't get to choose every tragedy that comes your way, but you do get to choose how you respond. And that response begins when you say, "I will pick my sacrifice." Picking your sacrifice means refusing to be ruled by fear, weakness, or circumstance. It means standing up and declaring that you will not sit idle while your potential goes to waste. It means acknowledging that while you didn't choose all of your pain, you will choose what to suffer for now. You can suffer for discipline, for growth, for a vision that's bigger than your excuses, or you can suffer for nothing and be crushed under the weight of your own inaction. Either way, there is suffering, but only one path leads to strength. So many people live life on autopilot, letting the world dictate their direction. They complain about their jobs, their relationships, their habits, but never take responsibility for changing them. Why? Because it's easier to remain a victim than to pick a sacrifice and follow through. Victimhood gives you an excuse to stay small, but growth demands that you give up the luxury of excuses. You want to be powerful. Then be honest with yourself. Choose the pain that builds you. Choose the path that requires effort, courage, and resilience. Because when you choose your sacrifice, you reclaim your agency, you stop reacting, and start creating. Pick the discipline over the distraction. Pick the hard truth over the comfortable lie. Pick the loneliness that comes with self-respect over the approval that comes from pleasing everyone. These sacrifices are not glamorous. They're often invisible, but over time they build a core so solid that no amount of chaos can break you. That's what makes you dangerous in the best way possible, not to others, but to your own weakness. You become someone who cannot be easily moved, manipulated, or broken, and all of that begins with one act, picking your damn sacrifice and carrying it with pride. The truth that underlines this entire speech is simple but heavy. You will suffer, whether you like it or not. There's no escaping pain, no version of life that's entirely smooth, safe, or without discomfort. What matters, what changes everything, is whether that suffering is chosen with intent or imposed upon you by chaos. Responsibility, discipline, struggle, and sacrifice are not outdated burdens. They're the very path to meaning, to strength, and to self-respect. If you refuse to carry anything, you won't be free. You'll just be exposed, vulnerable, and controlled by forces stronger than your will. Picking your sacrifice is how you fight back. It's how you make the chaos bow before your discipline. Throughout life, you will encounter two kinds of pain: the pain of commitment and the pain of regret. One strengthens your soul, the other erodes it silently. Too many people drift, hoping that maybe life will get easier or luck will intervene. But luck is no strategy. Hope without effort is empty. You must choose to stand in the fire with your eyes wide open, knowing full well that you are doing it for something greater than ease. Meaning will not arrive passively. It comes to those who act, who carry what they can, and then carry more. It comes to those who suffer willingly for something that makes them better. You're not weak because you have wounds. You're not broken because life has hurt you. What defines you is what you decide to do with that hurt. You can turn it into bitterness, or you can turn it into power. You can use it as an excuse to retreat, or as fuel to rise. When you stop playing the victim and start embracing the weight of your responsibilities, you begin to transcend your former self. The pain doesn't disappear, but it transforms. It becomes a source of purpose, a compass, a teacher, and eventually a badge of honor. The struggle that once seemed unbearable becomes the very reason you became who you were meant to be. So now the choice is yours. You can keep chasing comfort and wonder why you feel lost, or you can decide right now that you will suffer for something worthy, that you will live with your back straight, your eyes clear, and your burden carried with pride. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be responsible, disciplined, willing, and unshakably committed to meaning over ease. Pick your damn sacrifice, or life will pick one for you, and it won't care how much it hurts. Thank you for listening to this message. If it stirred something in you, if it pushed you to reflect, to rise, or to take even one step forward, then it has done its job. Remember, the power to transform your life begins not with some grand moment, but with a simple, deliberate choice to pick your damn sacrifice and carry it like it matters, because it does. I'm truly grateful for your time and attention. If this speech resonated with you, please consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear these words. Your support helps spread this message further and empower more lives. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more raw, real, and powerful content just like this. Stay strong, stay grounded, and most importantly, stay responsible for your own story. Thank you. Until next time, take care, stand tall, and choose your struggle before life chooses it for you. Goodbye.